So what is institutional corruption and why does that matter? I'm Thomas Conks. We've mentioned that an institution is a set of rules, roles, and expectations that serve a group of people. And every institution serves some group of humans. And the institution fulfills that job by empowering particular individuals, people inside the institution, a judge inside of the court system, an inspector inside of the building inspection system, an official who's been elected. These people are given power to carry out the duties of the institution, to do the things, the expectations that the institution has set for itself and for its stakeholders. The people who have these powers have special duties as well. When we, whoever we might be, put together an institution, we trust these individuals to use their power for the purpose of the institution, not for themselves. And that trust is the thing that keeps the institution going. Corruption is the misuse of entrusted power for private gain. Now, if there's no entrusted power, then there can't be corruption. If there is entrusted power, but it's not being used for private gain, then there's no corruption. But when there is entrusted power, which is going to be the case of an institution with people who run it, and if those people use that power not for the stated goals of the institution, but for some other goal that may be hidden and that helps private individuals, not the public, or helps stakeholders who aren't the named beneficiaries of the institution, anytime somebody takes the power that's been handed to them, and it's been handed to them for a purpose, and they turn the power to a different purpose, whether it's getting money, seeking favors, giving favors, getting status, having advantage for one side in a public argument, that is the misuse of entrusted power for private gain. There's a couple different ways this can go wrong. A single person can betray their duty while inside the institution, even though the rest of the institution tries to continue to do its job. They misdirect funds. They set up a shell corporation to sell the institution goods or services at a marked up rate, and they're the one who approved the purchase. Another way that institutions can become corrupted is if the whole institution turns away from its stated purpose and starts to serve some other purpose. For instance, let's take, for example, a regulatory agency that's supposed to safeguard the public from an industry, but instead starts to safeguard the industry from the public. There's so many ways that this can happen. At the individual level, a clerk takes a bribe to move your file to the top of a stack so you get served first. A building inspector passes an unsafe wiring in exchange for an envelope full of money. An officer was going to write you a ticket, but then instead takes some cash in order to not write you the ticket. If a professor raises the grades for students who slipped them cash, each of those is a betrayal, a corruption. Sometimes people do this in groups. An official steers a public contract to his friend's company and then gets a kickback. Or a finance team fakes the books so that leaders can hit their targets and get bonuses. A police unit plants evidence and covers for one another in order to make their numbers look good so they can get promotions. And whole institutions can be captured. A regulator built to police an industry starts shielding the industry instead, while the staff on the regulatory side leave for high-paying jobs in the firms they once oversaw and go back and forth. Or an agency rewards the people who fund it and punishes people who complains. Or a court where verdicts follow bribes. A licensing board that protects bad doctors rather than protecting the patients that they were supposed to protect. A news outlet that prints the stories that the owners or that high-end advertisers want printed rather than what the public needs to read in order for the public to understand what's going on. Through all of this, the sign on the door of the institution doesn't change. The judge still calls himself a judge. The agency still claims to have the mission, but the power now flows in different ways. And the actual benefit of the institution is misdirected away from the people who are supposed to benefit from it to somebody else. And so this definition, the misuse of entrusted power for private gain, now carries three different types of examples: individual misbehavior, small group misbehavior, and the entire institution misbehaving. And when institutions begin to become corrupted, as they inevitably do, it leads to a loss in public trust, a breakdown in public order, and a threat to civilization. And that is why fighting institutional corruption is an ongoing and necessary thing if we want to continue to live in a civilized society.